everybody to our great session about the possibilities to be best prepared for RISE with SAP. I have Andrew from Lemongrass with me. We have prepared a walk the talk presentation. And so please sit back and enjoy our recording. Regarding the speakers, my name is Haroon van Rikxoort. I'm supporting our RISE with SAP initiative from SAP side as transformation advisor. In this role, I'm supporting RISE engagements in 6 years and in total, approximately 27 years experience within the IT area. And I'm happy to be here and would like to give Andrew the chance to introduce himself. Please go on.
Sure, welcome. My name is Andrew Juric, and I'm the SVP of our global advisory practice at Lemongrass. I've been working in IT both on the client side as well as in consulting for well over 20 years. And many of my projects have included SAP both from a technical and operational perspective. So I'm glad to be part of this event and share some of my insights today. So first of all, many of our participants here are very interested about RISE with SAP, and some of them absolutely have some knowledge, but it'd be great to get a mutual understanding of RISE at the beginning. So what, in your opinion, is the most important information about RISE with SAP?
Yes, so basically we have prepared this slide here to give setting the scene about RISE with SAP. You see on the left side an approach which is called a best of breed approach. So customer tend to use different solutions for their business processes, and within this over the time or over the years, this is growing in a way that at the end it could have some risk to control it, and also have some risk about suppliers, especially when we look on cloud initiatives. Then you have to also look on all these interfaces and so on. And on the right side, you see the journey that SAP has started since 15 years now. So SAP has recognized that their customers requires more than just a license, and also the deployment type cloud was preferred by customers. So we are solidly looking on what customers are requiring and would like to move on. And this is what we also, from SAP side, in the past 15 years has developed now. So basically, we have a holistic view, and we see that the customers will need the kind of architect who will be also responsible that all these kind of solutions are working hand in hand. So that's why we have established, let's say, 2 core areas. The one is the Business Technology Platform, our BTP, and we have the Cloud ERP, which is our core area for many of the central functions of SAP. And then we have these industrial modules and solutions, and of course also an interface, a door to third-party solutions. So basically, that is what we are seeing to go more and more in the kind of business suite provided by SAP, not just as a license. It's also the governance. It's the security, the infrastructure, and the managed services behind it. And so we can see here that SAP has taken a strategic part to the cloud, and for sure support all their customers to join it. Yeah.
It's an overall a very complete picture, of SAP's strategy. In RISE, obviously, with SAP is part of that. What can customers expect from RISE?
Yeah, we have here a pretty nice slide we use also for our customers to engage them for RISE. So when we talk about this cloud ERP, and then we have the situation that customers would like to have, let's say, a kind of bridge to the cloud. So they have requirements in regards to modification, special modules, and also the kind of driving the SAP solutions is also something which most of the customers would like to have in hand. So what we see on the left side is that there are to manage or to provide SAP system, you have different let's say activities and levels in the solution stack to consider that. So when we look from the bottom side, then we have the situation that you need infrastructure, the data center. And this kind of infrastructure that is related to the servers, to the network, that all needs to be provided for an SAP system. And what we do here is that we will include hyperscalers. So we have overall contact and with AWS, with Google, and with Microsoft. So we have a hyperscaler first strategy. And this kind of infrastructure and cloud services that will come as infrastructure as service from the hyperscalers will be contracted by us. So the customer do not need to care about all the details required to know about the reference architecture. That's all what we have already prepared. And our managed services will also look for that everything is running in a good way. And what we also have on the next layers is the kind of activities that we know about from SAP basis. So everything about the operating system, the database management, and also in SAP, we call it the administration client in ABAP. That is everything what we will manage then for the customer. So the core, it's like a Lego piece, the core service with managed services, infrastructure, and also the license, including the license support contract to go to the product support. That is all included in one service. And this service has, let's say, a concept behind it. So we are looking for a service that will focus on the outcome. So the customer do not need to differentiate, to look on the complexity behind it. It is for the customer required to have defined subversion, and also to look on the availability, to see everything is running, and SAP take care about this core Lego piece. And so we have a promise behind it. So it's 1997 SLA behind it. And most of our customers are using their partners, and that's the above two layers. They're involving their partners in internal departments to then manage the application, the customization, development of own solutions, own reports. That is all done on the layer above. And this is what we also have on this concept. So we have also here a partner first strategy. So of course, we have also a kind of cloud application services on hand if customer would like to involve SAP. But if you look on detail on it, we clearly push and prioritize the partners. And this is also what the customers would like to have. So this is an overall a very good way to manage SAP and to get from SAP and its manufacturer of the solution all these, let's say, specialty behind it. And on the other hand, to have a freedom and also own pace to drive the applications in a way that it's best supporting the business processes. And in overall, we can see that customers can use the offering as platform as service to the core, and then or enhance it to an end-to-end SaaS-like service. Yeah.
From our experience, many customers have different starting points and also very different capabilities to support a business transformation. And we saw that transition to RISE is more than just purchasing a license. It has obviously a broader impact on the organization. How should customers start and how should they handle the project overall?
Yes. So basically, when we look on the customers, they have different starting points. And what makes the starting points, what kind of aspects are there that differentiate that? So basically, we have on the left side, the cloud transition. So this is one major aspect. So we say if the customer is using just the SAP license and it is managing this kind of solution, the SAP solution on their service in their data center, or they have maybe partner hosting environment, or even they have directly used hyperscalers. Then we, from SAP side, we call that on-premise. So when we move on the journey with SAP together, then this movement to the cloud deployment is a very important aspect. So we saw in this RISE solution stack, we will provide managed services, we will provide the infrastructure. That is all, and also the license is then included, and the way how it will be provided is then changed, right? So this is one which we are calling the cloud transition. And on the other side, on the bottom, you see the S4 transition. So customers, not all of them are already on S4. So that's also a big movement to say, I'm from ECC and I want to move to S4. And when we look on this picture, you have, let's say, customers on the bottom left side, which is on premise, on classic ECC. And then, of course, there are, from this starting point, 3 ways to go on. So customers could say, I would like to do first my S4 implementation project in on-premise. So it will move to the right on the bottom. And then after this kind of activity and also the impact on the organization, or especially on the processes, has been under control, then they will move and do the cloud move transition above to the SAP S/4HANA private cloud. So that's one way. And the other way is that the customer would maybe say, I would like to do a direct lift and shift. And this means it will go from the SAP ECC on-premise up first, like it is, ECC into the cloud. That is possible. So we can also manage and provide licenses in a service outcome-based concept in our private cloud. And then, so the cloud move and also the impact on the operational side is then managed. And then they can say, okay, I want then, after that, start with the S4 implementation project in the cloud with the new environment. That's possible. And the last one, which comes up, sometimes customer recognizes that their ECC is too, let's say, grown, too many modifications, too big, and there are many processes in it that they do not want to adopt to the new version. So basically, that's a diagonal way up. So we say in this case, stay with your ECC system where you are. Maybe it's an old data center. Please let it there where it is. And for the new S4 environment, anyway, you need new systems. And these new systems will be provided in parallel within the new environment directly in the cloud, in the RISE private cloud environment. And so it can be in parallel move up to the S/4HANA private cloud. And if after the go live and everything is working good, then the old ECC systems can be then shut down and the new environment can be used in a fully way. That's a way we provide and support, and we have many activities also there that can be done. But at the end, it is important to understand the customer requirements and the starting point and the planning. And for sure, we will find the best way together with the customer for our mutual journey.
So it seems that there's quite a bit there that needs to be clarified together with the customer before that they placing that order for that RISE subscription. From your experience, what's the typical timeline for getting to a mutual contract in the first delivery of the systems?
Yes, so when we look on a typical timeline, then this is shown here on this slide, then it is not just license, right? If someone just buy license, then he maybe at this moment, do not care about how much infrastructure do I need? How do I connect to maybe a cloud-based infrastructure on a hyperscaler? And I maybe will not care about the migration project and also do not have any, let's say, idea about the target operation model to look on how and who will look for the new solution when I get a license from the SAP. And this is changing, and this is have a big impact on the way how the interaction with the customer will then go on. So when we see this slide, then this is about the main activities that you see here are within our sales cycle. So when customer, and this is shown from the left side, when we align ourselves and say, well, what can be done with SAP in the journey that the customer has in their scope, then there's like a give and take. On the one side, as a customer need informations about how is this RISE with SAP then managed? Is there a service management model? What is the kind of activities are included or not? And how the network design should be done? How can I migrate my system to the cloud? So there are many questions that comes up. And as you can see, this is one side that the customer takes as informations to have a good concept. And on the other side, from SAP side, we are not able to provide an offer if we do not know how big the system should be, what kind of solutions. So we have finance, supply chain management, HR, so different business processes that are supported by us. So that kind of, let's say, solution scope, looking on where are you now as is and where you want to go to be. To align that and to have a clear overview on the target architecture, and also to see how the migration the movement to the cloud could be managed. That all can be done within these workshops. So basically, you see this on a timeline. It is not surprising if it takes, let's say, 3 till 6 months till the final offer from SAP is there. Sometimes it takes even more time. We are looking, and we will always supporting the pace from the customer themselves. And so we saw that there are many activities to be done. In my experience, the topics can be challenging for our customers. And it is an advantage to have an experienced partner on the customer side. It's really a hot topic. In my experience, the services from Lemongrass can be seen as a game changer. And so you see in this timeline here that we talk about in the planning and transition to RISE. And I'm happy to give the audience here the chance to learn more about it. So Andrew, can you please tell us more about Lemongrass first?
Sure. So first and foremost, Lemongrass is synonymous with SAP on cloud. That's basically all we do. and 100% of our revenue is on cloud. So 100% of our customers have SAP, and while we do sometimes support non-SAP systems for our SAP customers, both from a migration and an operations perspective, the managed services that we do for different types of projects, the managed services business is roughly half of our revenue, and it gives us a lot of direct experience that we then leverage when we give advice to clients. So we see a lot of clients that who might have a cloud center of excellence, for example, and then there's an island called SAP. And our job is often to kind of bridge those two items. So overall, we've got 700 experts around the globe and support over 750,000 SAP users.
Oh, okay. So that's a great overview to Lemongrass's company. Can you tell us more about the advisory services?
Sure. So Lemongrass formalized its advisory offerings a little over 2 years ago now, and became a separate practice. So it consists of 3 pillars. There's a strategy and planning pillar, operations and cost optimization, and then an architecture and data analytics pillar. So over these 2 years, the types of questions that we've been asked by our customers to answer has definitely changed. At the very beginning, so more than 2 years ago, we were helping clients look at some of the technical aspects of moving to S4. What would be the best way to manage SAP in a cloud native environment, and how to best manage the non-SAP systems that were alongside those in that ecosystem, or how to maximize the use of automation in the cloud, both from an infrastructure as well as an operational perspective. But today, in the advisory space anyway, more than 70% of our engagements are focused on the practical aspects of adopting RISE, specifically what customers can do to prepare themselves from a mindset, technology, and operations perspective.
Mm-hmm. And how does Lemongrass assist customers in addition to what SAP speaks about to the customers?
So let me show this slide here. So when we engage with the customers in specifically a cloud ERP advisory engagement, it's additive in support of the customer in the work that they're doing with SAP, right? So typically we have 5 work streams that we discuss with clients. And while each client is at a different starting point, we feel that as an approach, it's a good way of exploring the different aspects of that journey with the client, right? So with the first work stream, that S4 work stream, we aim to meet clients where they are. And if that's on ECC or if they're already on S4, we adapt our approach so that we understand their aims, what decisions they've made, and what questions they still have yet to be answered. So this might involve discussing upgrades, the impact to the business, how to minimize the operational risks and maximize the benefits resulting from a move to RISE. But it can also discuss some of the key preparations and activities from a wider operational and non-SAP perspective. Do you feel that SAP goes and looks at the non-SAP systems or the friends of SAP, and do you think that sometimes the systems those systems are kind of left up to the customer to figure out?
Yes, absolutely. This is correct. So basically, when we are as SAP, we have a kind of focusing on the SAP universe, and it's huge, right? But there's also a non-sub area, and this is a kind of blind spot. So the topics like central identity management and overall incident management process, maybe an overall global network design, they're all in responsibility of the customer from our point of view, right? So, and even we would like to assist or give guidance, we are not just able to do that. So just as an additional example, we do not give advice on how complete service management model should look like. And of course, not only technical points to address, but also on the target solution architecture and a clear decision about required licenses.
Yeah. So in the next work stream in that Rise with SAP evaluation, this is one of the areas where we go and take a look at the licensing considerations that need to be taken into account when looking at the planning process, right? So which systems move when, and some of the operational changes that customers need to make as a result of the SAP core and the CAS services that are outlined in that very detailed roles and responsibilities document from SAP. Right? For example, one of the things that we look at are changes to existing service contracts that customers have with their suppliers, covering items that are now taken care of by SAP directly, such as OS patching or backups. We also explore the practical steps of getting to a clean core. So we do look at the BTP strategy and what AI or machine learning integrations and implementation clients currently have. So we also use people from our data analytics practice to go and further explore the impact of things like Integration Suite and DataSphere. So our area of expertise is in the technical sphere of how things get connected and operated. So we work very closely with the client's functional and technical teams and their partners to make sure everyone is listened to and understand what changes could be coming.
Yes. So yeah, maybe so basically the sub-strategy from our side is to provide an outcome-based service, and we say they should not consider all the complexities, but on the other hand, there's also a kind of black box, and that makes then when decision needs to be done by customers, especially about the architecture, can be not easy. So there are topics in the area of architecture which are often kind of issue in our sales cycle. For these topics could be like the right sizing, to say this is the old system with the old, let's say, design for the processes, but also many old data maybe there. And then the target architecture and the to-be planning will require right sizing. And for sure, this kind of change from existing landscape to the planning environment, the customer, they do not want to have gaps, right? This should be working in a way that it is, let's say, best supporting the processes.
What we find is that there's a big mix of availability options and services in RISE, and it's not in the traditional way in which customers are used to specifying infrastructure, particularly infrastructure architects, right? And how they're used to speaking about SAP. So our goal is really to help customers understand the relationship between their requirements and their existing infrastructure designs and how those translate into the availability and the services that are being considered, right? So we also go and take a look at some of the migration and upgrade options and how these fit in with the client's objectives, giving them confidence in their choices that they're making the right ones.
Okay, great. So, but let's talk about the final decision and required business case to go for RISE. Do you have also some valuable services for this?
We do. So in the financial cases, we do go and take a look at what the inputs and costs are for performing upgrades or architectural changes. Migrations. All of these have costs, and these need to be accurately identified. Not only the cost of RISE itself, but a lot of the internal costs for testing the migration itself and the application and operational costs that the customer has to bear. Mm-hmm. So we then go and take that and put that into the wider context, right? In that overall strategy and plan, and we build that with the customer. So it's nothing we do to the customer, but we bring that all together. That's done in that final work stream, and we create a consolidated sort of visual overview of all of the steps and the changes that are required, really so that the customer can get buy-in from their various stakeholders and ultimately obtain board approval for the change. We often also provide resource models, combined with the responsibility matrix for all of the parties involved in creating a roadmap with those key milestones, dependencies, and durations.
Mm-hmm. So, and how do you go next? Which would be a great place to get into contact to you?
Sure. So we've got this wonderful QR code. If you scan the QR code, that'll take you to the advisory page at Lemongrass, so that you can get a bit more information. Or if you want to go and post send us a question, you can use info@lemongrasscloud.com, and we'll be sure to get back to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it from my side.
Yes. Great. So we are now at the end of our session. Really happy that we have shared all this information to our audience, and I think everybody for the time to listen. And yeah, from my side and also from Lemongrass, let's start the next steps in your RISE engagement. I wish you a nice day, and we will close the recording for now. Thank you.
Thank you.